Brazil's incoming far-right president has said he will seek to issue a decree loosening the country's gun laws. Jair Bolsonaro, who takes over on 1 January, had made the pledge a key part of his presidential campaign. Brazil currently has strict gun ownership laws, requiring any prospective owners to undergo psychological tests. But Mr. Bolsonaro has said more guns would allow good people in Brazil help combat violent crime. In response to Brazil having one of the world's highest murder rates, the Senate passed the disarmament statute in 2003. Under the statute, which stands to this day, in the first year after the statute was introduced, the murder rate in Brazil dropped by 8%. In the same time, about 500,000 guns were seized by police under a buyback scheme. Since that drop, murder rates have started to climb again. According to the World Bank, Brazil has the 8th highest murder rate in the world, behind countries such as El Salvador and Jamaica. The Brazilian Public Security Forum, which collects and analyzes crime data from state and federal government, there were 63,880 homicides in Brazil last year, equivalent to 175 a day, an increase of 9% on the previous year. A number of factors have been identified, including Brazil's role as a hub in the international cocaine trade, and dwindling police resources. Impoverished parts of northeast Brazil, in particular, have seen a large increase in recent years. Over the past decade, the murder rate in Rio Grande do Norte state has soared by more than 250%, according to the government-affiliated EP research body. Between 2016 and 2017, there was also a significant jump in the number of people killed by police in Brazil, up 20% to 5.
144.
Security became one of the key themes of the presidential campaign, which Mr. Bolsonaro won in October, with 55.2% of the vote. During his campaign, he would often make the case for more people owning guns, adding that guns had continued to obtain guns despite strict legislation. Every honest citizen, man or woman, if they want to have a weapon in their homes, depending on certain criteria, should be able to have one, he said. Mr. Bolsonaro, a former paratrooper, is an avid supporter of America's National Rifle Association, and the door of his campaign office was emblazoned with the slogan, "If guns are outlawed, only outlaws will have guns." Reuters reports that shares in Brazilian gunmaker Torres Armação climbed by about 88% year-on-year, amid expectation gun rights would be relaxed. In his tweet on Saturday, announcing the decree, Mr. Bolsonaro said those with criminal records would continue to be prevented from owning guns. A poll last August found that 58% of Brazilians believed that restrictions should continue on gun ownership. But any decree Mr. Bolsonaro puts before Congress is likely to pass with the majority. A popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park, in eastern Hainan province said it would waive the $9.65 yuan ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Meng, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. Use Huawei phones. Shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei's success and bliss." The offer would last until 29 December. The South China Morning Post reported. but it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a border in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story we covered yesterday, https://QUXL19YPQLPIC. Twitter.com Sokolov. End of Twitter post by @LuOceanG. At least one firm has threatened to penalize anyone buying Apple products. A few days ago, Manpad Shenzhen-based LED display manufacturer offered subsidies to any employees buying Huawei phones. It also pledged to fine anyone who bought an Apple iPhone. United States prosecutors alleged Ms. Man
46
used a Huawei subsidiary called Skycom to evade sanctions on Iran between 2009 and 2014. They also alleged she publicly misrepresented Skycom as being a separate company from Huawei, and that she deceived banks about the true relationship between the two companies. Ms. Man, who is the daughter of Huawei's founder, has denied any wrongdoing and said she will contest the allegations. Life of Huawei's high-flying errors. The United States has been investigating the Chinese telecoms giant, the world's second-largest smartphone maker, since 2016, believing that it used Skycom to bring United States manufacturing equipment and millions of dollars in transactions to Iran in violation of sanctions. Ms. Man's detention comes amid an increasingly acrimonious trade dispute between Washington and Beijing. China is angry at her detention, saying she has not violated any laws. Beijing has threatened severe consequences unless Canada releases the executive. Since her arrest, 2 Canadians, a former diplomat and a businessman, have been detained in China on suspicion of harming national security. United States President Donald Trump said last week that he might intervene in the United States Justice Department's case against Ms. Man if it would serve national security interests. I'll help achieve a trade deal with China if I think it's good for what will be certainly the largest trade deal ever made, which is a very important thing. What's good for national security? I would certainly intervene if I thought it was necessary, he told Reuters news agency. Canada reacted by urging Mr. Trump not to politicize the situation. Our extradition partners should not seek to politicize the extradition process or use it for ends other than the pursuit of justice, Foreign Minister Chrystia Freeland said. A popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park, in eastern Hainan province said it would waive the $9.65 yuan ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Man, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. Use Huawei phones. Shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei's success and bliss." The offer would last until 29 December. The South China Morning Post reported, but it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a border in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story we covered yesterday, https://QUXL19YPQLPIC. Twitter.com Sokolov. End of Twitter post by @LuOceanG. At least one firm has threatened to penalize anyone buying Apple products. A few days ago, Manpad Shenzhen-based LED and display manufacturer offered subsidies to any employees buying Huawei phones. It also pledged to fine anyone who bought an Apple iPhone.